Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out The World Ends With You Final Remix. I've actually been looking forward to this for a long time because I actually played the original DS version way back in the day. But I never actually played it properly. I actually used a flash card to cheat my way through it, more or less. I was young and stupid at the time, but now nevertheless I can actually give it a proper go, and I have. And I will talk about it with you now. I apologize if the audio is a bit weird on this one. My setup requires me to actually be looking at the screen, which means looking away from my microphone. So I've got my audio turned up a little bit to try and account for that. It just might sound a little bit odd in the final recording. So we can go have a quick look at the options menu. We can even turn the pointer speed up and down, which is a nice little trick. I'll probably keep it around the original speed, but it might be worth trying a slightly lower value. And that's really all there is to it. We can just hit continue and it'll pop us straight into the game. I don't know exactly how long I've been playing this for. It's been a few hours because I have been slamming it more or less because, again, I really liked the original game even if I didn't play it properly. And, well, let me just put it this way. Everything except the control scheme is great. We'll get into why shortly. So, we're here in Shibuya, and for those of you who don't know the plot, basically you're a teenager who's been dropped into an alternate reality version of Shibuya, where you basically have a bunch of objectives to do, and if you don't pull them off, you will die. That is more or less it. There is more to it, of course, but I won't get too much into it in case of spoilers. So we can have a little bit of a wander around and talk to people. Usually the Reapers are blocking the way one way or another. It looks like I won't actually be able to go that way, but the red guy should let me go this way if I do... Oh, no, apparently not. It changes chapter by chapter where you're allowed to go, so I can actually head to a store and see what they've got in stock. There are actually a lot of stores in this game, and all the different stores actually have some neat stuff going on with them. I'm actually going to buy this sticker, which is just a basic power-up. But all these different stores have their own different things, such as clothing and food to buy, and they all have their own different effects. There are also pins, of course, but we won't go into them just yet. So we're going to have a bit of a wander around, but it looks like there is somewhere that we will need to go eventually, so we might as well just start heading around and see what we can find, more or less. We will get blocked if we aren't supposed to go in a general direction, which works well enough, but thankfully we do actually have a cutscene we can watch. The cutscenes in this game are actually a little bit odd. They work a lot better in... whatchamacallit. They worked a lot better on the DS version, mainly because of how they, since the speech bubbles are so small, it just seems a bit weird to have all the font and such be so big. Thankfully, it's still alright. I think they've actually redone some of the cutscenes from the original version. I believe that they have redone a specific puzzle that Yahtzee Crowshaw in particular complained about in his review of The World Ends With You way back in the day. Where, okay, he says that we're going to Cat Street. I don't exactly remember where that is, so I'm just going to have a bit of a wander around for a bit. But yeah, I think they've redone most of the, well, some of the cutscenes, I should say, from the original game, because I remember the 104 building puzzle at the beginning of the second act being a hell of a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for, patronizing, I think the word is? It was surprisingly, like, it didn't treat you like a very intelligent person not be able to figure it out. But they redid it, more or less, to make it a little bit less ridiculous. So I think they've done a few things like that in order to actually improve the writing, which I appreciate. However, they did not improve the voice acting, which is honestly still as terrible as ever. Thankfully, there's not very much of it, but there's no option to turn it off, which I would really appreciate. Yes, I do want past this wall. Beat 3 noise. Perfect. So now we can actually get into the combat. So we've got a little player pin down the bottom right here, and if we click on it, using the pointer, we can pick out some enemies to fight. So let's do that. We'll just start with this one. And here comes some music. The music in this game is brilliant. Nothing you can say or do will convince me that this game is not absolutely amazing in the music department. So, this is The World Ends With You's general combat. You have 4 different pins, and they can vary in several different ways, but the general idea you need to get your head around is they all have their own activation timing, not timing, abilities. You could also say timings in certain situations, but nevertheless. The general idea is that you've got multiple different pins, and you are able to use them in different ways. Like, for example, I have a pin right now where if I just click on a general spot, it will fire off those boomerangs, but when the boomerangs run out, it will start firing out these small bullets. Now, this game does have a certain functionality called Sync. Now, Sync is basically what charges up to allow you to do a super attack. To charge up the Sync, you need to do combo attacks between the 2 characters. To do combo attacks, you need to do the following. You need to activate your partner's special ability, and then once you've activated your partner's special ability and successfully hit an enemy, you need to activate one of your pins and hit the enemy with that, and then you need to go backwards and forwards between the 2 different kinds of attacks. And once you've done that, you will slowly start building up Sync. And once you get to 100% Sync, you will be able to fire off a special attack which will damage everything on the screen. We won't demonstrate that right away because we need to demonstrate some more enemy killing. And this is where the major problem with the remaster comes in. Here is the issue. Both the control schemes suck. Now, I can only show you one of them right now because I only have HDMI output for my Switch. And since I only have HDMI output, it means that I can only show you the pointer controls. However, the pointer controls are... well, honestly, they're the best of the 2, but they're still not great. The problem with them is that they're incredibly imprecise at the best of times, and even with several hours in the game, I'm still finding it really hard to get used to them. They are really difficult to get right, and there's a reason for this, and the original game suffered from this too, but it was nowhere near as bad. You see, you've got a ton of different motions you can put in to activate all these different pins. Now, one of them is just tapping in empty space, but then you can have slashing in empty space, but the game doesn't seem to enjoy picking it up very much. So the general control scheme on the pointer is follows. It's kind of like a mouse. You point it at the general space that you want to do an attack, then you hold the R button, and then any motion you do after that will be considered as the motion to pull off the attack. So I've got several different motions I can do with this set of pins that I've got. I can click in an empty space in order to fire off some bullets. I can drag down in the empty space to throw down his special attack. I can drag anywhere in empty space to throw out this pin that I'm pointing at right now. Or I can drag up in empty space to try and pull off the icicle thing that I've got there. However, the motions that you need to do for all of these are incredibly sensitive, and you'll often end up doing the wrong attack at the wrong time. And this can really come back to bite you in the ass, especially when you have several attacks that you need to pull off in a chain, and you need to be able to very accurately go between them. We've got one more of these things that we need to defeat. It's not here. Hang on, I need to move around a bit. Maybe I need to stick up here in the corner. And yes, clicking in the wrong spot will make you move. It's kind of annoying. You can hold the B button and move around, but it can be kind of hard to get used to. Let's show off a... God damn, I'm really not getting the chain timing right. But yeah, the controls are kind of miserable. And the thing is, there are touch controls. Here's the problem, they're even worse. You can't be anywhere near as precise as you can be with a tablet, with the tablet form on the Switch. And it even makes it harder to move. You see, at least in this game, you can hold the B button down, and wherever you're pointing, your mate will move. But in order to actually get him to move on the touchscreen controls, you need to drag and hold on him. Oh, you need to drag and hold on him, more or less. And that makes it really annoying. Let's show off sinking attacks. So, here's how sync attacks work. They're different for your different co-op partners. You get different co-op partners throughout the game. And they basically just require you to do these really quick little things here. Yeah, I just need to count to 3 while avoiding the reverse numbers. It's pretty simple. And then the other one is just find like little matching symbols on either side of the screen. It's not as hard as it looks at all. It doesn't look that hard to begin with. And if you successfully pull it off, you'll get a powerful attack and you'll up the drop rate of anything you kill, which is pretty good. But yeah. In the touchscreen mode, you have to press the touchscreen where you, on Neku, and then you have to move him. And that is even more annoying because there are also several different kinds of pins that require you to drag across him. So if you fuck up the movement, which is entirely too easy to do, it's just, you just won't move. You might throw out your pin by accident. You can change pins to be a sub and a, into a main and a sub mode, and you can swap between them with a tap on the X button. I don't know what the fucking control is on the touchscreen, and trust me, I've tried. But it makes things a lot harder because I only have 4 pin spots at the moment, and when you've only got 4 pin spots, you really need to be able to access most of them at once because it is entirely possible to run through all your pins. But let's go and have a quick look around at all the stuff we've got here. So, you can actually do one Joy-Con co-op, which is a neat little concept, but honestly, this game is so actually, it might actually be better in co-op mode, because being able to actually accurately time combos might actually help you out a bit, but I'm not going to lay any claims to that, because I don't have any friends. You've got a bestiary here, which is... It's nice, because you can see down here that you've actually got drop amounts, so you can see what they'll drop at any particular percentage. So I know that if I want to fight the Cornix Canor again, I want to put it up to hard and make sure that I fight it again and again for the harder drops. You've got items, and you've got your basic items, like you've got your general accessories, and these will up your defense, your attack, and your bravery. Well, accessories won't up your bravery, but food will. And you can use accessories. They've also got different special effects, like when your partner wears this, your sync rate will rise much more quickly. That is actually pretty useful. I should have that on him now that I think about it. And you also got... Whoops. There we go. You've also got food. Now, food is interesting. So when you put a food item on someone, it will give you a little bit of extra sync, so you can go into a battle having a little bit of energy built up for your special attack, but it will also require a bit of time to digest. So it says it goes down in 8 bites. That's not real time. But when you fight enough battles for that to go all the way down, you will get the bonus of your max HP going up. Here's the problem though. You only have 24 slots on your food, and that goes away in real time. So you need to wait 24 hours in real time for that to go away, and it's the only thing in this game that's affected by real time. Other than just like a little clock up in the top right, as far as I can tell. This is a stupid mechanic. I hated it back on the DS, and I hate it here too. And as you can see, Joshua is still digesting some food here, despite the fact that I haven't played this game for a few hours. So, the thing is, the things you get, the stats you get by digesting food is pitiful at best. So, you end up in this position where you want to be eating lots of food as much as possible to get your stats up, but you gotta wait 24 real-world hours in order to actually pull that off, and it's bloody dumb. You've also got a bunch of other items here. You've got you can buy CDs to listen to the music select. And to be fair, this is actually something I did in the actual game. I just kept it along as a music player because the music in this game is fucking amazing. And you've also got stickers, which will give you either little extra abilities or different power-ups or different little game mechanics. And you get them just by getting them in-game. You unlock them, more or less, right? It's nothing particularly out of the ordinary. you got pins, and I haven't played the game in 14 hours, it says? Yeah, 14 hours. So I get a little bit of level up on my pins. I also get that via actually playing the game, so it's kind of annoying. And you've got all these different little pins here, and you can swap them in and out any way you want. It'll tell you how you activate them. It'll tell you how you, what they do, how much they last for, how much time they take to reboot and all that. And once you've leveled them all up, they go into Mastered. And when they're in Mastered, you're more than welcome to just either, well, chuck them out for money, or just hold on to them, use them later. But there are actively better pins that you can get throughout the game. Unfortunately, if you get in a position like I am, where if you end up in a really bad spot, where, for example, you've got Joshua, and Joshua requires you to drag down from the top of the screen, and you need to do that in a combo with something else. So using Lance Lunge, which has knockback, is a really bad idea, because I need to be able to know where all the enemies are going to be so I can drag down on top of them for a combo hit. So I can't use anything with knockback right now. Unfortunately, most of the pins that I were used to had knockback on them. Deeds is basically just your percentage counters. This one here, I actually know what this is. This is your chapter select. Eventually, you'll get the ability to go back and play earlier chapters to do things like side quests and resource grinding. And speaking of resource grinding, let's talk about that. So you can change your difficulty here. They'll hit harder and have more HP. And you can also change your level gauge. Now, your level gauge will determine how much HP you have, because enemies in this game can hit like a truck. And if you die, thankfully, it's just you go straight back to where you were before the fight if you just go back to the title screen, so it's not a big deal. But it'll actually increase the drop rate, so it'll actually give you a higher percentage chance of getting items. We're just going to keep that about there for demonstration's sake. You've also got a mini game called Tin Pin, but we won't bother with that right now. We'll just get back to the story. Which is a neat story about alternate worlds and motivations. And see, I got an extra sticker there. Tap the pin to restore a small amount of HP. That's nice. I wonder if that's repeatable. Yeah. Basically, you're just going through, you're fighting noise, you work your way through the plot, and you do many different things. There are a lot of different things that actually happen in this game. There's modifying people, there's modifying people's emotions by injecting little keywords into them. There are neat little things like Minigames, one pop pendulum. Oh, cool, I already had the pin that he wanted, so yeah, you can... Collecting a lot of pins is actually very fruitful in this game, because it will eventually help you out a bit. There is also something I forgot to mention now I think about it. You can actually see that certain pins will actually have like certain affiliations. So if I go and have a look at this one here, Jupiter or the Monkey. And Jupiter or the Monkey has a 20% attack in this area. The brand chart will actually change depending on where you are, and you can modify it by playing with certain sets of pins, which is a big little idea. But anyway, here we are, we're at Cat Street. So yeah, we cleared our mission, which is nice. Ah, that cheeky bastard. So apparently he just wants to talk to someone, so... Is it Jupiter or the Monkey we have to go into? No, that's an actual shop, but it does actually have a pin we can buy. More accessories. There's the cafe.
Tell me who you are, who you were, how much have you been paid? Huh? Take it easy, R-E-L-A-X. Would you like to have something to drink? To tell you the truth in this contract, I don't care.
Could probably filter that out with a black screen.
Want the cash transferred to my account, cause it make me feel alright. Yeah. I'm busy, dizzy, lazy, got a global eyes and growing mind. Above all, I'm wise, I'm very well organized. Make me a compromise. Watch me rise high for the last time. See how this connection works. Information goes back and forth. I sit beside the window, and all I do is watch the shadows grow longer, linger for better. You'll never know what eternal decadence means. Yeah.
I'll just skip through the rest of this and get us back to the actual gameplay. Chances are there's going to be something spoilery in here. Alright. So let's go and fight some more shit, because I'm bored of standing around. Let's do this. So there is another neat feature in this game. You can actually chain up encounters. So if I chain these 3 encounters together, it actually increases my drop rate, but the monsters will slowly but surely get... Wow, they're all weak. How did that happen? Right, that's a bad sign.
How's my aim?
Drop some on him, and... But yeah, as I was saying before, the main problem with this game's combat is the controls. It's just impossible to be precise as you need to be with these controls now. Back on the DS version, it wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't. I mean, you could get used to it really quick, because the nice thing about the DS stylus is that it was precise inherently, right? There were some hard, like, little things that to do, but with both the pointer and the touchscreen, the problem is you just can't really put the shit down where you really want it to go. Like, you can try, but most of the time you'll just fail miserably. Like, the motion to get stuff to drop in requires you to be incredibly precise. Now, it probably will improve a little bit with that sticker I just got, but it can be really, really difficult to precisely drop some stuff in, just due to the way that the pointer works. Not to mention these guys can move around and all that. But the thing is, it feels like that the enemies have way higher, whatchamacallits, they have way higher, bigger, I should say, collision masks when it comes to attacking you. You don't get that much room to move around in this game without being in the attack vector of somebody. And it really sucks.
How's my aim?
It really doesn't make the whole two people working together to save the world thing work at all, right? Like, the original game had a really huge focus on the idea of having the 2 people work together in combat, and it worked great, although it was incredibly hard to get used to. Like, I will admit, that was the main reason I didn't give the game, I didn't finish the game properly. It was just because I was young enough to not really be capable of... I was young enough not really to be capable of playing the game properly. And now, playing the remastered version, which has put a lot more emphasis into the, which has put a lot more emphasis onto just the single combat, makes it surprisingly difficult in its own way, but not in a way that's even remotely satisfying or fun to play, and it's really frustrating, because I would really like to continue playing this, but it's honestly making me want to go and pick up the... It's honestly making me want to go and pick up the bloody DS version again. Because this is honestly just... It's honestly just too frustrating to continue on with. Because of just the overwhelming difficulty of controlling anything. On both bloody, whatchamacallits. I suppose you're an ass all the time. Sounds about right for Joshua. Let's put the difficulty back down to normal and give myself some more health. It's just... I want to like the remaster, I really do. And to be fair, there is some stuff about it that I really do like. As I said before, they rewrote some of it, so it really does... it really does work really well in the sense that, let's just do a bunch of chain fights. This is going to be easier now that I've got, now I've put the difficulty back down to normal, but at the same time, it's still going to be a really frustrating use of drop that in, and then fire that off, then drop it in, then, yeah. I don't know how I managed to throw out 2 attacks with 1 stroke. It really frustrates me. Not to mention that, yeah, it's just the underwhelming precision of you with the overwhelming precision of the enemies, in that they don't really need to be precise. They can hit you from anywhere if they want to. How did I miss them? Like, that chain should have gone right through all of them. How did that fucking miss? Is this... Oh, damn it. And trust me when I say touchscreens are worse. It's so much worse with the precision because you can't see exactly where you're tapping. At least with the stylus, you could see exactly where you needed to lift your stylus off of the ground, or off of the screen, I should say, in order to actually see the, in order to actually see where your stylus would end. In this case, you can't really see where it's going to end, and on the touchscreen at least. And when you're playing with the little remote here, you don't get the physical feedback of lifting your finger off the screen, so it just makes the game's combat all the more miserable. Especially when their attacks are so bloody wide that it just makes it feel like you can drop like a sign right next to a dude and have it completely miss. Now there are some misses I've made in this video that I completely understand, but when it's right next to the dude and doesn't hit sometimes, it can be extremely frustrating.
That was nothing.
So yeah, we move on to the next battle, but it's a little harder, and it has more dudes, more or less. We can escape at any time if we want to, but I really gotta show off as much of the gameplay as I can, just to make you understand that it can be really, really frustrating. I was trying to get the icicle spike going there, but I just could not pull it off. But yeah, this control method is absolutely miserable, and it's the one thing that makes me think, okay, I'm never coming back to this. Honestly, I'm probably not going. I added bloody The World Ends With You, the original version, to my bloody games I need to play again list, and then, you know, make sure that I never actually play that list again until 2020, because holy crap, that list is long. But as for this version, I can't recommend it. Both the control schemes are terrible and don't really work that well, and lose the one thing that really made The World Ends With You on DS special in the first place, which was the incredibly fancy control scheme that worked really well. Well, not really well, but worked way better than this, and did a way better job at creating this kind of combat. I really do need to play that game again. God damn. I'm trying, but it detects my down slashes as up slashes. It detects me tapping in empty space as a bloody slash, which I don't actually have to do anything with. It's just, God, it's so sensitive. Even on point of level 1. The only reason I'm keeping it on point level 3 is because it's too slow to get across the damn screen otherwise. And not to mention resetting it's a bit of a chore that you have to do every 30 seconds, and I can see that being incredibly distracting for some people. It's just, it's not good. It really isn't. It's the one thing that ruins the game for me. I really do wish they'd done better somehow. I mean, they should have released this on 3DS. Why didn't they release it on 3DS? I have no idea.
Predictable.
And I'm not gonna make you sit through another battle like that. Let's just escape. Your sync rate just dropped a little. Fantastic. Right, one last feature. Tin Pin. This is a neat little mini game, but unfortunately, just like the main game, it's been replaced by really bad controls. The original game, I should say, has been replaced by really bad controls. So the way this works is you have pins, and you need to slam them into the other dude's pins in order to try and knock them off the edge. To do that, you can use your 4 separate abilities. One which basically just rains you down from the sky like a bloody demon. One that will create a hammer, which will basically just, which will try and knock them off. And one that will turn you into a spike ball that will cause a stun. In fact, there are a lot of things in this game that will cause a stun. And if you win, you get extra PP on your pins. So, you know, it just helps them level up a bit. Unfortunately, the pointer controls are just as bad in this game as they are with the rest. You can use the analog stick to throw out in a particular direction, but for some godforsaken reason, I can't for the life of me figure out why, you can't actually launch at full speed across the screen when using the analog stick. I don't know why. The controls are just odd. It's a neat little mini game, but there doesn't seem to be much benefit at the moment. I know that there's a bonus chapter at the end of the game which is entirely based around tin pins, so you might want to get good for that. And there is some extra content at the end of this game for people who played the original DS version that might lead into a rumored sequel, but God, I can't stand it. I don't want to play it anymore. The controls are just that bad. Even with the fantastic music, the great little remastering of the art, the just general theme and, well, story of the game in general. I actually really did enjoy the story. That's the main reason I finished it on the DS, despite having, you know, cheated halfway to hell and back. It's just really frustrating to see a flawed but otherwise capable control scheme replaced with this. And I'm gonna have to censor that as well, because god damn it. Oh well, I think it's time for a boss fight. And I'm still on a weak brand of pins. Great. And of course the boss is him, so you know what, I'm just gonna head back to the home screen because yeah. I wanted to like it. I came in wanting to like it. The reviews said the control scheme was good. Like, that's the reason I picked the game up in the first place. I wasn't originally planning on getting it, but they said the control scheme was good. It's not. It's fucking terrible. I don't know how anyone got along with it. It's incredibly imprecise. It requires you to be precise, which you can't really do when you've got no physical feedback with either the Joy-Con or the fact that you can't see exactly where your thing's going to end on touch. And it just makes a mockery out of the original system where you would swap back and forth between the two screens, and it doesn't work. I feel weird. Am I the only person who thinks this? If anyone else has picked up the World Ends With You Final Remix on Switch, let me know, because I really want to know if it's just me. I hope to God it's not just me, but it's a question worth asking nonetheless. This has been Blue Maxima. Get the original The World Ends With You if you still have a DS or a 3DS lying around, because it is a fantastic game. Otherwise, don't touch this remake. Just don't. There's no point. I'll see you all next time.